Right, we're on the play. I mean, I like this hand, even though it's glacially slow. This is like one of the better 5-drops we could play in a scenario where we're behind, which we would almost certainly be if we kept this hand and didn't draw any action. And I hate mulliganing. I'm keeping. I know it's wrong, but I just don't feel like mulliganing anymore. At some point you gotta put your foot down. And there are some matchups where I would certainly keep this hand under like normal circumstances when I'm not tilted. Like if we were to play another green-red mirror, this hand would be totally acceptable. Because we have all of our land drops, we've got good mid-range threats and a removal spell. But if he goes like 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop, I'm gonna cry, probably. But being on the play, I don't know. I'm just trying to justify a bad decision at this point. But I don't think it's as wrong as some people out there might think. That's the point I'm trying to get to. Well, here we go. Hey, see? It all works out in the end. Blue-red, huh? Corsair, that's a pretty good one too. Ooh, that card is going to be real good if we get to untap with it. Well, we went 1, 2, 3, but we're actually not in the worst shape because we drew fairly well there. Alright, I'm going to lead off with the Regisaur. I could play it slightly safe and use Hunt the Weak to take care of the Kitesail Corsair, but putting a +1 counter on my Exotic Keeper is actually not that attractive in the face of a Sailor of Means. And like he could just play something better than the Corsair down the line that I would rather have had the Hunt the Weak for. See if he has a way to deal with my Regisaur. Post-combat fire cannon blast. Okay, fair enough. At least he had to use his treasure. Guess I'm just playing Herd Collar. Even though it doesn't match up great against this board, because he has the 1-4 holding off the 3-3s, and we're still getting hit with the Corsair. There's just never going to be a great opening to deal with this Corsair. We're kind of just going to have to bite the bullet at some point and take a turn off to deal with it in an inefficient manner. I think I'm still playing this Herd Collar though. Okay, that's kind of rude. Once again, not really a great opportunity to use the Hunt the Weak. I mean, I guess I can hunt the weak the Corsair and then just stay back for a turn with the Herd Caller, a 4/4 Herd Caller. Lots of options this turn. I can Horncrest, get in with Horncrest, and leave this back. If he sends with Recaller, I can just block with Keeper, and that's enough fine trade by my standards. One removal spell on one of my untapped guys isn't the end of the world, because whichever one I don't lose I can use to trade off for the Recaller. And then I have 2 removal spells still at the ready, so I think this makes sense. What do his blocks look like on the Horncrest? You can put Sailor plus Recaller in front of it, I guess. Maybe that's not even worthwhile. Maybe I should wait a turn on that even. So do I just not attack, period? Because next turn I'll have a Bombard to blow up a double block, potentially. Yeah, I guess so. I also have the Keeper, which can threaten to make something big in a couple turns. Meanwhile, that Corsair continues to give me a headache. It's dealt pretty much every point of damage this game for my opponent. Corsair, don't really care. Another Corsair, that's annoying. Not bad. So this is probably definitely a good time to get rid of one of those Corsairs. He has 1 card left in hand. Let's use Hunt the Weak. I'll grow my Herd Caller up to a 4. That's worthwhile on this board. And then we'll pass. Now a land lets me get a huge chunk of life going. My attacks aren't actually that amazing either, even though our creatures are all bigger. Just the way that his power toughness distribution works out means that he can make some profitable double blocks. Although we have the Bombard, and eventually the Keeper will be able to blow stuff up. And he continues to get the flyers going on us though, which is a problem. Relic, that's not bad. We will have Ascend active. And we can use this Bombard, which I probably should just use immediately before he gets the chance to untap or anything. So we're going to gain some life next turn, one way or another. Sprinter. Oh, the evasion. So he has us on a 2-turn clock, assuming we don't gain any life, because of the Firebrand dealing the last point of damage needed to make it a clean 9 over 2 attacks. So that's notable. That's going to be pretty nice too. So do I start sending anything on the ground is the question. I think it makes sense. I'm going to send with I'm going to send with Horncrest. If one of my creatures is going to get bounced, like pre-combat, I'd rather it be a Herd Caller, so I'm more willing to lose a 4/4. And I'm actually okay with a slightly inefficient trade here, because now I'm starting to be interested in clearing the board a little bit for my fatties waiting in the wings. Now this is a matchup where the Avatar really shines. The only time we really got to see it in play this match set was when we played against the other green deck. So I'm going to get rid of one of his 3-power creatures here, I think. Maybe it makes sense to just get rid of the Sailor Amines. Let's just get rid of his biggest guy. Or maybe I should just get rid of the rig hauler so he doesn't get to do any like bounce shenanigans with it. 3-3 isn't really that much better than a 3-2 on this board. Except for the fact that Exali's Keeper could trade for the rig hauler on defense. So I guess I should do that. So let's play the Avatar. And also, the extra point of toughness could have allowed him to make a profitable double block on a future turn on like a 5-5. So we're going to be taking some more damage here. But now we're actually starting to outpace his life gain, or his pressure rather, with our own life gain. We have some decisions to make. I can crack this relic now and draw a card, even though I already have a play for the turn. Or I can play land, threaten a activation on the keeper. The problem with that is he doesn't really have to respect that, because if I tap out, he likely has me dead to rights on the swing back, and he's still at 20. So I can play Armasaur. Well, let's draw our card now. I don't think I'm going to be threatening the keeper no matter what. That's pretty good. So now I think I'm just playing two big guys and then sending my fatties into the red zone. And again, I'm okay with a slightly inefficient trade here because I'm trying to just clear this board up a little bit. And this is fine. I get a 2-for-1 out of this, which is acceptable. So now I like my position. And even a land isn't like an awful draw because of this Exali's Keeper. And obviously any spell is just fine. Secrets is pretty good for him, though. He still has a clock, so this game's not over, even though I think I am pretty solidly ahead here. Wayfinder, that's not bad. Right, let's send him with our 4/4s. Wayfinder, I mean, it isn't like amazing here because it just gets bricked up by the Sailor of Means, but some, ooh, I can stay on top. He's gonna keep going at it, though. Water knots, okay. So what do I kill? Probably one of his evasive guys, just to play it mostly safe. What happens if I send with everybody? I lose my keeper, it's not great. So I guess I can only send with the herd caller here. And post-combat I'll just take out the Stormfleet Sprinter. severely reducing his clock, if nothing else. No attacks, I like that. Ooh, I like that too. I think here I just take out the Corsair pre-combat. And I just send with the Herd Collar again. He has to chump. And again, we're either going to keep drawing gas or we're going to draw land to turn on our keeper. So he's kind of in a not enviable position no matter what. Okay, so once again, this looks like a spot for the Tillinolli's Crown to come in as a defensive play. Possibly Raptor, definitely Crushing Canopy. I'm going to trim one of these hard to cast Fire Cannon Blasts and make the land swap that I've been doing. And there's an argument for Cobbled Wings. Probably not worth it though. Even though he's got a decent number of flyers that we're going to want to block, he also has like bounce and removal of his own, in which case an equipment like this can be a huge liability. And then for our last cut, probably just a Dreadmaw, which doesn't match up well against blue either. I mean, it's fine, but I think 2 should be acceptable. What else would not be great in this matchup? Pretty happy with all of this stuff. I need all the early plays. Maybe Gleaming Barrier. Doesn't match up well against his deck, because it doesn't match up that great against evasive creatures. He did pretty much nothing that game. He did have some 3-power guys though. He had the Deadeye RIX Draft and he had the Swaggering Corsair. I think on the draw, that's fine. Maybe on the play I'll bring this other Dreadmaw back in for the barrier, but this is a fine exchange, I believe. Yeah, this hand's solid, by which I mean it's great. This is a very good hand if we find our 4th land. Kept on top. See if he has a 1-drop. Daring Buccaneer. Okay. Revealing Kitesail Corsair. Alright, good start for him too. He scried to the top, right? Yep. That'll be good eventually. Squeeze off to probably his best start. Our hand is no slouch in dealing with it. So I'm very glad this Gleaming Barrier is not a Colossal Dreadmaw at this point. Forest, I wasn't expecting that. Well, my opponent's off to a good start. Like the best possible start. Alright, let's just get rid of this Stormfleet Sprinter now. Now all we want is lands. Jeez, okay. Already at 10, man. At least he's almost out of cards. I'm gonna drop the Knight first. And if I find a land off the top, this Avatar is gonna spiral out of control pretty quickly. So hopefully he just doesn't have a Deadeye RIX Draft for the Knight. Just a Trailblazer. Alright, land. Ah. That's pretty good too, though. Or at least it will be. Problem is I can only do one thing this turn. probably gonna have to be Crushing Canopy. I guess I'd Hunt the Weak maybe is better. It uses my mana for the turn. Where do I want to put it though? I guess the only option really is Knight on Stormfleet Sprinter. Saves me the most headache. I would like to put the counter on the Gleaming Barrier, because the 1 toughness will be useful for later. I think my game plan here is just to buy myself as much time as possible, and take as little damage as I can over the next 1 to 2 turns. Just give me a land off the top, and this game should be well in hand. Take this hit. Looks like he might be out of gas, which is good. I think I'm just gonna pass and cast Crushing Canopy. Even though I could cast Dreadmaw, I think this is the safest line for sure. Well, we might have lucked out, and he just drew a completely dead draw after that super fast start. Still, pretty good showing for our deck after he had like the nut draw. Our deck was still able to overcome it. Now I think this game is just completely over. So now we just get to dump our hand, gain 1,000,000 life. Well, 2-1 with this deck. It's pretty much par for the course. Hope I wasn't too insufferable in my early rounds. I'm still not crazy about this format, but it's very possible that I'm just still learning it and playing it incorrectly. I mean, generally I think I'm pretty good about, you know, judging for myself whether I'm being insufferable or whether I'm just wrong. I'm not quite sure where I fall on the spectrum yet in this format. I still have, generally, I have a lot of reservations with this format still. That draft didn't necessarily resolve for me, so at the very least I don't think this will be my last draft of the format. I'll probably be back once again later on, but let me know in the comments what you think, if I'm just bad at Magic, or if I have some right to be annoyed with things outside my control. But either way, thank you for watching. I think my next video set is going to be back to Standard. I know Modern's all the rage right now, but I don't plan on buying into Modern right now. It's like the worst possible time to buy into Magic Online Moto, with all the card prices spiked thanks to the Pro Tour. But yeah, we'll be back to Standard soon, and we will see you then.